It recognizes our belief in God, our country, not just individuals, our country, our founding fathers codified this in the documents that founded this country. Our reliance, our belief in God, and our reliance upon God. Of that, there's just no debate on that. You may like it, may not like it. Declaration of Independence, we find these truths to be self-evident, that we are endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, of which are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. He goes on in the Constitution to say we are putting together this Constitution in a preamble to secure the blessings, not only for ourselves, for posterity. And that Constitution followed with a Bill of Rights that enumerated those godly rights given to man, including the very first one, which was a right to believe in God and to express that belief anytime, anywhere, including the public square.
33 million. It's proven to the money investors that people want something to feed their souls, not just their worst desires.
Absolutely.
And
yes, indeed.
This kind of sums up my entire dialogue career on the heat of the night. You ready for this? Okay, this is it. My 7 years on the heat of the night. My dialogue all summarized in this. Get right on it, Chief.
Captain Skinner, but Bubba's my name. I like my iced tea sweet and my women the same. I'm your brown-haired badge here in little old Sparta, but nobody's bigger or tougher or smarter. If you're looking to fight, best not be with me. Gonna be held tight, well now we'll just see. You never know in the heat of the night on TNT. Heat of the night on TNT. Now I don't put on any airs, but then I ain't no slob. Just a redneck boy with a blue-collar job. The ladies I date, they gonna have them some fun, cause I'm a big hunk of crime fighting son of a gun. So if you're looking to fight, come on up in the ring. You wanna be held tight, just about anything can happen in the heat of the night on TNT. Hubba, 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 hubba. Heat of the night on TNT. Yeah.
This hour of the Alan Autry Show is sponsored by Sinlaw, the most realistic artificial grass in the Central Valley.
From NFL quarterback to Hollywood to the mayor's office, and now behind the mic at KXEX, this is the Alan Autry Show. No retreat.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
What the hell's going on out here? Everybody grabbing out there. Nobody. That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
So, 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable. We are live. We are
You're listening to the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KXEX.
And welcome to Alan Autry No Retreat. It's Manic Monday here at KXEX 1550, the best talk in town. And we're going live. I tell you, we talk about this a lot, but very few people go live anymore. Even the old podcast, they'll tape one or record one and then make a drop. Joe Rogan to whomever. Very seldom do you see it live. And I just find that kind of interesting because there's something about doing a live broadcast. Like we do the live broadcast here on TuneIn. Like I said, through the old school radio TuneIn app. You can get that and get KXEX 1550. You can go on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, until we get canceled, removed because of subject matter sometimes. But we play both sides here, or three sides, or four sides, whether there is to an issue. We try to cover them all, but we try to do it, I do at least, live, because there's just something about that you just can't get when recording. You can't edit. You got to be on your game, so to speak. You kind of got to be. I would suggest people that do go live, be the person you are the best you can in behind the mic as you are at home. Because if you try to be two different people, you're going to slip up. Like in real life, if you cuss like a drunken sailor, you come on the mic, you try to clean it up a little bit, you're going to slip. You're going to get in that comfort zone or what have you. If you're the kind of person that calls people really vicious names or that sort of thing, and you want to come across as a nice guy, a diplomatic guy, you're going to screw up. And I would just say, take a good review at that before you decide to go live. But if it lines up that you're pretty much the same individual behind a mic or in front of a camera that you are in real life, and you think that you're not going to, screw up and get yourself in trouble, by all means, go live. There's just something neat about that. So we try to do that as much as we can. I hope you all had a great weekend. And just some things off the top of my head I want to talk about. I want to get to Barbenheimer and why I'm so happy that these two movies, Barbie and Oppenheimer, have been such a success. Maybe a little different reason than some of y'all might think. But first of all, I just got to tell y'all how excited I am to be here every day. Well, I'm excited when I wake up every morning at my age. My bar for happiness is so low now. I mean, if I get up in the morning and I wake up, my eyes can see where I'm going, my body can get me there. It's a great day. I'm having a great day. Hey, Alan, how you doing? I'm having a great day. But then to be able to come back into this studio and have this show that I've always wanted to do, and people ask me, why do you do this little radio show from the little station there? You had hit TV series. Here you could be doing other things. And not that my options are endless at my age and that I wasn't a huge star on television. Certainly wasn't a big star in sports and football. So I can't capitalize, to the millions of dollars on something like that. But I can, have opportunities there for me from time to time. Just did a guest spot on Tulsa King and 911 Lone Star. Get offers from time to time. But I do this because, dadgummit, I just love it. I just love it. I love being here. I love visiting with y'all. I love exchanging ideas. I like stimulating debate. And it's just one of the most fun times that I've had in my life, coming here when I can do it live with you all. And just thank you for being a part of it. I just love it. Plus, the actor's on strike. Whatever else am I going to do? What am I going to do? We can't go to work. And I really feel bad for the older generation. To me, excuse me, I've reconciled my, if I work again, I work again. If not, I don't. I'm not going to lose sleep over that. Most movies probably that I'm going to make, if God gives me, a chance to make or be in other movies, going to be the ones I probably produce my own, with my own production company. We got a couple out now called Victory by Submission. You can get it on Tubi, go on YouTube. I really suggest it's a good movie. Also, we're produced through my company a Western called Forgiven. And that's on YouTube. It's closing in on 2 million views. It's only been on there, I think, a little less than 2 years. So people are seeming to like it. It's an old throwback Western, feel-good Western.
So I just recommend that, two movies that the entire family can sit down and watch. But this strikes are always tough on people. And in the movie business, sometimes there's a perception that the only ones being hurt, if you can call it being hurt, are those actors that we see on successful series. You see them walking the picket line. You'll see a Ted Danson walking the picket line. You'll see, you know, some of the major stars that you've grown up with that, are doing really well, have done real well, and have made a ton of money as actors, whether with their initial paycheck or through residuals, where they get really rich. And you say, it's hard for me to really feel sorry for those people or have any kind of empathy. But let me give you a little bit different way to look at it. Being on a movie set, yeah, you for example, Heat of the Night, Carroll O'Connor, he would never have to work another day in his life when he did Heat of the Night. He had made enough money on All in the Family. He owned a part of that show. I mean, just more money to ever spend in a lifetime. But on the Heat of the Night, and at the time, most of the actors there were unknown. Uh, Howard Rollins had somewhat of a following from some of the movies that he had done, basically unknowns. They were getting their first break, real big break on that TV series. But there was also tons of other people that go into a production. Craft service people that make sure that you have some food there all day long. Excuse me. Drivers. I'll never forget a driver. Her name was Burley. And gosh, she was just a kick, a Southern gal there that got a job locally. She was, on hard times when Heat of the Night came into town there, and they hired her to be a driver. And what a wonderful young lady. And she was able to provide for her family there with that steady job for 7 years. You got makeup artists. You have wardrobe people that literally, like on this last show, I saw that things have not changed much that I did on 911 Lone Star. These folks, wardrobe, makeup, craft service folks, even some grips on the camera crew, people living from paycheck to paycheck. Not that they're out blowing money. They just don't make that much money. They love the business that they're in, and they have a tough time making it, but they make it. And this strike is devastating to them. They have mortgages. They have payments they have to make. They have kids to get to school, grandkids. And those people are going to suffer from this strike as well. Many people that you out there listening right now could relate to. You may not be able to relate to Harrison Ford, to Tom Cruise, to, all these major stars that are out there now, and Arnold Schwarzenegger or what have you. But I promise you, if you went onto a movie set and just talked to all the people that are involved in making that movie or that TV show happen, you'd find a lot of middle class folks that you could relate to, that I could relate to. Because I got success late in life. I was almost 35 years old before I hit anything of magnitude. That was Heat of the Night, when I made more money on that show in one show than my dad made in a year. And I felt very humbled by that. I get on the screen and go, get right on it, Chief. And I get a paycheck. And my dad, I see what he made for working 12 hours a day, plowing fields, planting crops, picking cotton, driving a harvester, hard work 6 days a week. It humbles you. But so I related more to the middle class folks, the stuntmen, the makeup people, the wardrobe people. I spent a lot of time in that makeup chair, because my face needed it, I guess. But I just love talking to the makeup people. They were down to earth people by and large. And there's a lot of those on movie crews. The vast majority are just middle class folks trying to get by that don't really get any help. They're not poor enough to get welfare or food stamps. And they're certainly not rich enough, like MGM, who they're working for, to get corporate welfare or get all of these stimulus bill bailouts, $26,000 per employee that he kept going. I mean, that's such a crazy program, that ERC thing. I don't understand that at all. Giving this money to, it's just fueling inflation and all, but that's another subject. But I just want to give you folks a little different perspective about this strike. And I hope it gets settled quickly. Yes, for the actors, Screen Actors Guild, because I'm biased towards that a little bit, but also everyone else that depends on that movie industry going. That it settled quickly before people, lose their homes and all that stuff, which can happen when you have a protracted strike like this. They're talking a couple, 2-3 months. Hopefully that's the case. But I do think I speak for folks like that have made, have been blessed in the business to have made a living, that are getting decent residuals. Makeup people, they don't get residuals. Wardrobe people don't get residuals. That grip doesn't get residuals. That cameraman doesn't get residuals. That sound man doesn't get residuals, or sound woman. Those extras don't get residuals. My goodness, they're trying to get rid of extras with this AI stuff that you pay an extra once and use their likeness forever, and bye-bye down the road you go. I mean, there's some legitimate things that are a part of these negotiations that I hope that people dig into it and will support the actors, because these studio heads are crying poverty when you got Bob Iger over there at ABC making $50 million a year. When what you're talking about with the Writers Guild, they're $75 million apart. That's all they're asking. Well, Iger could cut half his salary, and you're almost halfway there to fill in that gap just with one guy, one CEO. Get rich. Nobody's going to be, I don't begrudge Bob Iger for making a lot of money, but goodness gracious, I mean, how much do you need? And you're trying to squeeze blood out of a turnip with the actors and the crew people and all this stuff that goes into making movies. So again, I hope, I can't help but think the old dudes like me as well. You got Sylvester Stallone, guy's 76 years old. No, he just turned 77. And in great shape, great guy, by the way. But he has his Tulsa King series ready to go. Well, that's shut down. Writers aren't writing, no production at all. Sly's got to be saying, he's got the calculator out. I don't know, maybe 78. How long is this strike going to go? And he doesn't have many years able to perform. It's just an equation, a mathematical deal. I mean, doing what he's doing. He's still knocking people out, still swinging the left hooks, and doesn't use a stunt double much. He does. He's got one there, but doesn't use him much, trying to do his own things. You've got, my friend Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's got his Zubar series. I think that's how you pronounce it, over on Netflix. Arnold just turned 76. And, they're going, Dad gum, we got this series out, then we go on strike. So I know they're pulling Harrison Ford, 80 years old, and his movie's doing pretty good. Not as good as expected, but good. The latest installment, Indiana Jones. So at 80 years old, he's thinking, hey, I'm going to get a few more offers here before I go to that big set in the sky until God says, cut for good and print it. Come on home, Harrison. So you got the older actors, you got guys like me out there going, settle this thing, because our shelf life in front of the camera isn't very long. So selfishly speaking, I'm pulling for, but most important, honest, from the bottom of my heart, is all the people that go into making a movie you never hear about. Middle-class, hardworking people living paycheck to paycheck, struggling to make their bills just like everybody else. The farthest thing from sunglasses and autographs. These are just people that sweat hard every day. Work. I tell you, I know this is going to sound funny. We'll go to break here. Guillermo Moreno just slipped in right next to me. But I'm serious. You will not find a harder working crew in terms of going and commitment than a good running TV or movie show by those folks, by the grips, by the PAs, by the makeup people, by the wardrobe people. They're going 100 miles an hour, 6 days a week. If you're not filming in Hollywood, just good people. All right, we'll be right back. This is Alan Autry, No Retreat, KXEX 1550, the best talking now.
Hey, Jeremy. Make it a very short commercial. That way we have enough for my show. Like a minute commercial. Well, I was on Jerry Dyer's One Lane Fresno.
What?
Oh, my gosh.
I like that one lane. You think that model's going to look that?
I was sitting in traffic for 20 minutes.
What was happening?
They shut down 2 lanes coming into
To
Manchester.
do what?
They're doing road work over here, so they shut it down
30 seconds?
by Target.
Why are you just now doing potholes?
No,
You're
no.
coming up into August now. It stopped raining.
Yeah.
Early June. I can criticize the mayor. I know I was once mayor, but hey, I sit on this side now.
I see.
So we got the potholes fixed when I was mayor.
He's taking out a
10
turning lane
seconds?
right now.
You
He's taking out a turning lane into Manchester.
5 seconds?
know what the hiring criteria goes for those engineers? I'm kind of torn between the atomic scientist and the fry cook. Can I
This
design
hour
those
of the Alan
potholes?
Autry Show is
I'll fix
sponsored
it,
by
Uncle Jim.
Sinlaw, the
Uncle
most
Jerry.
realistic artificial grass in the Central Valley.
Welcome back. During the break, how do I describe it? A slightly disgruntled
Yeah.
Guillermo Marino slipped in beside me here. Guillermo, just what's on your mind right now? Share with the folks. You unloaded on me. Everybody needs to know this. We love our mayor. He's a great guy. But there's always a but.
So I'm late coming into the studio, and that is because I'm driving on Jerry Dyer's one lane Fresno. We got 3 lanes and a turning lane from Target on Shields and was that first, and he shuts it down all the way to Manchester to do road work past Manchester. It is the most frustrating thing. So I think it should be one. I'm gonna go back and say, I like one Fresno now. I don't like it, but it's correctly named one lane Fresno. It should be one lane Fresno.
You mean everything is
one lane?
Dysfunctional?
One lane, yeah. One pothole Fresno. They're only going to fix one pothole every season.
I got to ask this question. And people, well, you were a mayor, you should be sensitive to it. I am. I didn't say anything. How many? Swearingen administration had a lot of issues with them. Didn't say anything. Lee Brand didn't say anything. So I think I have the savior.
You got it right.
I got the guy I hired that has a lot of guts. It's going to get stuff done.
Yeah.
Going to fight crime. He's going to say it like this. Take on Sacramento when you need to. Take on D.C. when you have to. Get the potholes fixed. Do that at the same time. Walk and chew gum at the same time. And it's just been an absolute disaster.
Yeah. The roads weren't this bad when you were mayor.
Wash your mouth out. This bad. We were known. We got awards. We had people fly out from St. Petersburg, Florida,
really?
To find out why there was not any graffiti in Fresno. Because when you came from Stockton this way, he said, graffiti everywhere. You got the Fresno city limits, no graffiti. Once you got out of Fresno, there graffiti.
And you told them why, right?
Exactly.
Because of you.
Well, no, we get tough on them. You got to take these folks that it's not art, it's vandalism. When you go up and I don't care what kind of you put this stuff, and then you got these woke people, and you got the mayor going,
oh, it's a beautiful piece of art. It's just in the wrong place. We have to make sure that we put it in a place where everyone can enjoy it, not where it says Shields turn off mile and a half.
No, it's vandalism. It ain't good. I'm sorry for you graffiti artists out there. You ain't good. You're not good. Just because you can make something flow there. And did I tell you the story?
Oh,
I got this.
You did, yeah.
I had to threaten the state of California. Found I had one graffiti removal truck because I said, take this stuff down. Georgianne White was my chief of staff at the time. She can't do it, Mayor.
She's chief of staff now, isn't she?
No, she's city manager.
City manager. I apologize.
So she says, we can't. I go, it's a state issue. I said, what? It's Caltrans. I said, we'll call Caltrans. We call Caltrans. I said, we need to have this taken down. Well, we can't. Why? Because our truck is in Southern California. I said, wait a minute. Our truck? You didn't put an S on the end of that. Our truck, as in one truck? Yeah. Yes, sir, Mr. Autry. You've got one truck responsible for taking graffiti down on the freeways throughout the entire state of California. I said, do you understand that you're the biggest state in the union? Do you know how many graffiti trucks they probably have in Texas or Idaho? Probably more than you have. Oh, we're sorry, sir. I said, I need this taken down. I need to take it down. It's Monday. I'll give it to Wednesday. He says, no, sir, we can't do it. And they gave me something like 3 months later. I said, I'm going to tell you something. If it's not here down by Wednesday, I'm going to get my fire department to come over to that graffiti. It's hanging right on Shields Avenue, right off the freeway, the Shields exit. I'm going to have them harness me up. I'm going to have them lower me down in my suit with some paint, some stuff, some graffiti removal stuff. I'm going to put my life in danger, and I'm going to clean that up. I'm going to call the press to cover it. Then when they bring me up, I'm going to have a press conference, and I'm going to tell everybody
why I had to do that. They were here Tuesday night. That Tuesday night, it was graffiti was gone. From then on, all I had to was make one phone call, and suddenly the Caltrans graffiti truck
magically
appeared. It was like the Batmobile. They were here. And these are the kind of things I tell our mayor, you've got to take on. But now he's taking the hush money. So what happens when Gavin Newsom now, because we got a budget deficit, the goodies are over. The crumbs have been thrown your way, Mayor Dyer. City of Fresno, you got your $125 million, whatever, infrastructure. And by the way, when I run for mayor, and you've got to not say anything, you got to support me. Run for president.
Yeah.
Got to support me. And by the way, when we short you on water, don't be a part of this coalition to come out and criticize me for not building a dam and having more water storage.
Mm-hmm.
You got to stay quiet. And you know what he's going to do? He's going to stay quiet.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
That's why they're in the thing. He got mad. He texted me. Now, here's a guy from he's 64 years old. You got a problem with me? Call me.
Yeah.
Get on this thing here and call me. Let me hear your voice. He texts me. I heard you call me a puppy dog. He texted me.
I remember that show.
I'll tell you. So I look at this, and I can see he's serious. He goes, "You call me a puppy dog. Why?" So I text him back. Do you know how old I feel texting you back? Like about 15 years old, Jerry. Maybe like call me.
Yeah.
No problem with it.
Did he call you?
No call. Another text. He was going to show me that I was a former mayor. Not going to tell him what to do. You tell me not to text.
He send you an emoji?
No emoji.
You should have sent him one of those like mad emojis.
Those crying emojis.
Yeah, no, this is me after I get my car bill after driving on your 1-lane Fresno.
Okay, let's get to it. Hey, did you see what Elon Musk did? He apparently the KXEX fame. It's just spread all. It's Elon Musk.
Yeah,
he's getting rid of the Tweety Bird and is going to replace it with an X.
Hey,
did you see that?
I cannot confirm nor deny our relationship with Elon Musk.
Is it true that you're going to be fighting him in a cage match? You'll fight the winner of him and Zuckerberg?
Hey,
my money's on you.
I cannot confirm or deny. It should be. I've been running
money. No, as fast as you slip around, you'd give them so many rights they'd pray for a lift.
I like that. I like that.
You get it right?
Yeah,
I so many rights they'd pray for a lift.
And use that at a promo. It's so good.
What do you think about that?
Rebranding. I don't think rebranding is a bad thing.
But they're calling that Tweety Bird like iconic, like the Nike swoosh.
Oh, come on. Twitter is not iconic. It's important, I think, in American history, but iconic, no. I think iconic is like Barbie.
All right, good segue. Way to segue into our next. Have you all heard? You had to have heard, unless you've been under a rock for the last week. Hollywood suffering. Are the movie theaters going to go under? That staple, that iconic venue that we all go, that we went in, took our first dates to the movies. Some of people asked to get married, at the movies. Some other stuff happened to movies we won't talk about. You got the hot buttered popcorn there, the great night at the movies, day at the matinee, endangered species, because after the pandemic, the movie theaters were they weren't as packed as they were in the past, and to the point where they were talking about the demise of Hollywood. But the news of the demise was very premature, because to the rescue, Barbenheimer. Barbie and Oppenheimer. Here's this from this past weekend. Barbie, $150 million in one weekend, just domestic, not overseas. Oppenheimer, $80 million. For you folks who don't, those are unbelievably big numbers. So a lot of people went to double feature, Guillermo. They went and saw Barbie, bought 2 tickets, then went and saw Oppenheimer, or went Oppenheimer and Barbie and the Bomb.
Yeah,
that was what do you think? I'm just thrilled.
I'm really happy for Hollywood. I really am, and I'm really happy for theaters, because, like you said, you want to talk about an icon. Theaters are an American icon. And I never want to see theaters go away.
I haven't gotten over the drive-in theater going under.
Oh, man. There's still one in San Jose.
No.
West Winds. It's a company called West Winds.
I would drive there.
I've been there with my wife. and you can't do the double. It's just
and you got the microphone you put in.
No,
the window?
it's in your car. It's your radio.
It's on your radio.
It's on your radio, and I love it.
Is it AM?
It's that one is on the. They have a couple FM and AMs. There's kind of that short circuit. So here's my overall analysis. I'm really happy for the theaters. This shows you a couple of things right now that's going on in our American culture. Number one, if Hollywood or whatever, movie house producers, whatever companies do it, if they make good content, Americans will go. So as long as they make great content, it's going to happen. Here's the bad part of all this, and you can kind of see it in all American culture. I think we have too many options. The American is spoiled rotten. We at the touch of our fingers, we can watch Netflix movies, we can watch Hulu, we can watch Paramount, we can all see it right here. So back in the day, you remember back in the day when you used to get the TV Guide? You were probably on the cover of some of them.
I never made the cover, but I got a full story in there. It was me and Seinfeld. We were the hunks of TV.
And you still are.
Oh, hunk of
what? AARP.
I'm a hunk of what?
No, but listen.
I don't doubt that I'm a hunk.
But remember that? I used to love going to the newspaper and finding out, what's on. And then I think during that generation, you have movies like that's something like, wow, I can go anytime I want. This is huge. Theaters were big. Now in today's culture, we're bombarded with so much that why go to the theater if you have decent, if not better options available in your home? And you kind of think about it, this is kind of what's happening to American society. I think it's the decay of American society. It's too many options. In politics, we have that right now. News, there's too many options. There's too many. You can go to OAN, Newsmax, Fox, CNN. I mean, we're bombarded with too many options.
But at the end of the day, couldn't that competition rise the level, the quality? Now, like I said, we got 7 Republican candidates.
Yeah.
They're going to, it's going to be iron sharpening iron, I think. I'm really looking forward to that process. I'm glad it's just not 2 people.
Yeah.
So, I mean, don't you think we just haven't gotten used generationally to that many options? Because me, an old timer, a boomer, I can remember when you didn't have those kind of options. You had 3 TV stations, and I was the remote control. My dad, Doc, turn it over there, Channel 24. Turn it back to Beverly Hillbillies. Turn it back there. And then when the picture was bad, I had to get up on top of the house with the antenna.
Remember those, the foil?
Yeah, turn a little bit to the right.
Yeah.
A little bit. No, I'm back. There it is. And then I'm still alive. I'm an old guy, but not ancient. And I have all these choices that came out. I mean, you go to the grocery store. How many choices of bread? Choices of there's so many choices of everything. I agree. There may be too many, but I don't want to go back to like just 2 or 3 or what have you. I'm glad there's more movies being made.
Yeah, I am too. Here, it's kind of.
And I hear what you're saying though.
It's like the Uber and Lyft effect, right? When Uber and Lyft came out, it was cheap. It's like, man, this is great. Don't have to take a taxi and pay an arm and a leg. Now in some of the cities, you see Uber and Lyft. I mean, their prices are outrageous now. They've totally decimated the taxi industry in some of the areas. I don't want Netflix and Hulu and everyone to do that to the theater. The theater, I hope, always stays there forever and ever.
I do too. I'm with you on that. The taxi thing, I don't know. They kind of brought it on themselves.
Oh, they did, yeah. But
I mean, I was in there where that was your only ride and you go into the town. And I don't think I can count the taxis that I got into that didn't smell like fresh urine on one hand.
Oh,
I mean, it was an old Taco Bell sauce that the driver had slopped all over the place. And you need no room because he wanted to spread out, the taxi driver. And most of them were not, let's say they were personality challenged.
Yeah.
You get there, where do you want to go? I mean, it was bad, But, good cabbie's a good cabbie. Of course that. But yeah, I understand.
Do you think the American theater will ever go away like the drive-in?
I don't think it will because I think people want that big screen experience because you need to watch Oppenheimer on the big screen. I haven't seen Barbie yet.
Did you watch Oppenheimer?
I watched Oppenheimer.
Really?
Yes. Brilliant movie. Disturbingly brilliant. And probably the most important movie of my lifetime. And go see it and see if it's an exaggeration.
But that's what they're saying about Barbie right now. They literally.
I was out there.
They literally have that.
I don't understand it. I'm glad. I didn't realize how big Barbie was. Barbie is the make-believe
doll version of Taylor Swift, which I still don't get. I did the turnout. I mean, she just sold out a stadium 70,000 three nights in a row. Kim and I were at the movies this past Friday, the opening night. We went to the 405 show. You go in, that lobby is full. People of every ethnicity, every size, shape, dressed like Barbie. And I've never seen so much pink in my life. And I look over and there's a middle-aged Hispanic man with a pot belly dressed like Ken waiting in the and he's having the time of his life.
America right there. America for you.
But I never got. I thought, I mean, Barbie, how lily white can you get than Barbie and Ken?
It's very true.
And yet you're getting every ethnicity turning out. They can't wait to see Barbie and Ken.
You got a good point there. There hasn't been
happening?
A woke movement against it, right? Because you're right. She's white and Ken's white, and it's kind of this perfect. I'm really surprised it hasn't been attacked by the woke culture.
Well, I think probably because they had that thing with the China. They gave the South China Sea to China. That was the little thing to keep the woke wolves off. But I mean, I'm looking at this going, my goodness, this doll has just, and I thought that had gone away. I just didn't think there would be this this movie may very well be the biggest grossing movie of all time.
I don't know if it's going to be all time, but
it's on a pace.
To be of all time?
150 million in one weekend just in America. Wait till they get those closet Barbie adulators in Korea.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
or in Africa or South America. I mean, there's the Barbie nation, man, all over the world. And it just took me by surprise. I've gone to a lot of movies in Fresno. You have too, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're probably going to see it this weekend if you go. I mean, I know this was opening weekend, but I'd never seen anything. I'd never seen that lobby so full. Well, and people dressing up like they're going to, I mean, cult, like it's a, I don't know, a religion.
Yeah, yeah. But
I'm not being critical of it. I mean, religion's a wrong word. They're just big fans. It's like, you know what it reminded me of? When Star Trek came out.
Yeah.
Remember Star Trek, the movie?
Oh, yeah.
I went to the movie lobby. Everybody with the ears, Spock.
Yeah. Star Wars,
like
same thing.
Star Wars character.
Yeah.
Hadn't seen anything like that since.
So this weekend, my wife and I said, you know what? We haven't been to theaters. I can't remember the last movie I watched in the theater. So I'm guilty of what I was preaching earlier. And she's like, well, what's on? And so I went on my Fandango app, and then I was like, oh, well, Barbie's out this weekend. Oppenheimer's out this weekend. Mission Impossible is still in the theater. And my wife said, you know what? There really hasn't been a lot of good movies. What do you want to watch? And then I got distracted by something else. And then I said, babe, we'll just stay and watch something on Netflix.
Yeah.
And I stayed in and watched something on Netflix.
You know, you've somehow become older than me.
What is up with that?
70 years old, go to the movies, and you're at home, and your wife can't even get you out of the house.
She can't.
What's wrong with you, man?
I don't know.
Stop. Get out. See the world. Slow down a little bit. Because, sir, for a minute, you're like an old man.
I know. I ended up watching a Netflix, one of those marriage movies where
when you start doing, let me watching no reruns of Gunsmoke, you know you're
in big trouble. I know I'm in trouble.
But you know that with Barbie, I mean, you just mentioned something. It's still amazing. I'm just amazed, folks. Maybe you all saw this coming. I mean, the preview said it's going to be a big hit. The experts said hit. I didn't see that. I mean, there's same people that came out and said, you know, you hear so many of the experts, you know, the polling, often politics. Like maybe I've reflected that over into that to that world. The polls that were wrong, the projections, and I've seen Hollywood projections be really, really wrong. And it's going to exceed it. And you have Barbie. Who would think that Barbie would be able to take down Mission Impossible? Barbie took down Tom Cruise down to like number 4. So did Oppenheimer.
Yeah, they both did.
I mean, now it's starting to creep back. But that Mission Impossible is a franchise hit.
Oh, yeah, I love them.
And you have this...
timing, that's why. Because I was looking at how long... Oppenheimer was almost 3 hours. Right.
The quickest 3 hours. Let me tell you this movie, and I tell you, I don't want to be a spoiler. You got to go see this movie. See it on the big screen. It also, because it's not just about the atomic bomb. It's about what they did to Oppenheimer, the government, and what a small little group of powerful politicians can do to someone who's given so much to the country, but they're ready to get rid of him. They don't like him. and what they do, to the extent they go to get rid of a guy with the media, the politics, the people in power. Sound a little familiar?
No parallels are coming to my head right now.
Automatically, right off the bat, start making that connection. And that was totally, obviously, unintentional. But it is what's happening now. It is you look at that going, yep, that's exactly what's happening right now to Donald Trump. I'll go ahead and say it. Whether you love him, hate him, or whatever, you can't escape the connection between what they did. And that's as far as I'm going to go. I don't want to, like I said, spoiler word. Go see it. Tell me what you think.
Well, there's another one. There's that sex trafficking one as well.
Sound of Freedom.
There, yeah.
Small little studio. You texted me that, didn't you? That small.
No, I had a movie idea for a script.
Oh, yeah. That was a great movie.
That was a great idea. That'll get me going to the theater.
Yeah, he sent me a movie idea that we might just do that. I just went through, okay, got the budget. What am I going to do for this? A wedding? I'll tease you. I tell you, it started my juices going.
Good. It's good. But yeah, so I think here's what I want to really hammer home, especially with Barbie, because I was watching some of the TikTok videos that came out of Barbie, and it was people were going in really happy and they were coming out crying. So I'm not sure I think the message of Barbie was she's obviously fake, and then I guess she gets transferred into like the real world, and there's kind of an interplay of reality and being fake. So I think that's what the movie played on, and so I think people were coming out a little.
Wait a minute. You're crying?
Yeah.
So you got a movie, Oppenheimer, that talks about the possible end of the world if we don't come to our senses about nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
That's enough to make you cry. But they're crying coming out of Barbie, not Oppenheimer?
Yeah. So first
interesting.
They chose to go to Barbie, not Oppenheimer, and they're coming.
Do you know what happens to make them cry?
I saw the TikTok because they did before and after videos. Like, hey, this is me going into Barbie, and then they came out and their eyes were kind of red. So I'm not sure what happens in the movie that makes you think, and I can only guesstimate that it's, she's fake and she goes in the real world and gets, slapped with just reality on.
Maybe Ken had an
affair. They said
that would be tragic.
It would be.
It'd be tragic.
It would be.
Ken's the only guy. I mean, you talk about representing our gender really well. It's Ken.
Ryan
Gosling would no more think about cheating on Barbie.
That's true.
And just leave it to the Hollywood to come up the next level. Barbie, the dark side, Ken. He's a serial killer going around killing all the other dolls.
Come on.
Him and the Chucky doll.
Sounds like Toy Story now.
No, I'll be Ken and Chucky hook up. That's Hollywood for you.
I thought they could have probably chose a better Ken.
Ryan Gosling?
Did
you see him in La La Land?
He doesn't look like a Ken. Like there's other actors that look more like that are Ken-like. I don't know why I think Ryan.
But Gosling's a good actor.
He's a great actor.
Well, hey, let's face it. How do you bring Ken to life to be Ken? You got to be a heck of an actor.
I guess that's a good point. I mean,
who would you put in?
It's such a hard role to play.
Who would you put in? Well,
Ken is.
How do you bring a doll to life? You got no past history.
Yeah, I guess.
Because the actors go into the character, okay, like Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Cillian Murphy, who played Oppenheimer, could read about Oppenheimer, read about his certain little idiosyncrasies that he's had in his life and stuff. And you bring that in, you create this character, and it comes out to you. But Ken, I mean, there's no background on Ken. Where was Ken born? Did Ken have a tough upbringing?
Malibu?
Do we know? I don't know. I'm not
I don't know. Malibu?
Did he have an abusive father that he was able to overcome?
He was just there.
So does Ken have a last name?
I don't know.
Does Barbie?
These are. I'm not sure.
Are they like? Well, I think the last name would be Dawn.
Are they? They're together,
Barbie,
right?
Yes.
Barbie, Ken and Barbie.
Barbie and Ken.
Well, yeah, but you never know.
Well, they were together. Every other generation. Like I'm saying, Hollywood will probably have them come up and split up, and Ken will have a prenup that Barbie won't sign. Then it'll just be a horrible thing. No way, any kind of iconic, pure thing like that, leave it to Hollywood to completely poison it and corrupt it. But I don't. It goes back to you wouldn't pick Gosling. It's tough for an actor.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Who would you put in there though?
I don't know. There was this one good-looking guy in Top Gun. He looked more like a Ken kind of actor to me. But I guess
Gosling was bankable.
That's true. That's a good point.
Because he did La La Land, made a lot of movies. One of those offbeat movies like that.
Yeah. Brad Pitt would have been good. He's older, though.
I think the bigger chance was with Margot Robbie.
That's a good point. You're right. I would have expected like a Taylor Swift kind of look-alike actress.
I would have picked. Who's the actor was in La La Land?
Oh, that was the redheaded gal.
I would have put them two back
right?
together.
The redheaded gal. Now you need a natural blonde.
Yeah.
Is Margot Robbie even? I don't.
Who knows?
See these young actors.
Fascinating. Okay, moving from Barbie and Ken to the Ukraine, you have Vladimir Putin up to his stuff again, bombing granaries and being part and parcel to a world hunger crisis because they can't ship this grain out.
Mm-hmm.
They had a deal with Ukraine that they were going to let the ships go through there to their part of the ocean there. I guess they had a treaty and an agreement. Russia extended it for 6 months, hoping, I guess, to work out some kind of peaceful solution to the war over there. Ran out. The agreement ran out. Russia decided no more and proceeded to bomb the granaries. And Zelensky has obviously put the onus on Putin and the blame for these countries, mostly in Africa. It'll be a worldwide kind of grain shortage, which is going to shoot up prices and inflation even more. That's the good part of Bidenomics. Start a war, fuel inflation. And you just see where Morgan Stanley just came out and said the economy's great because of Bidenomics. I gotta hear that. But Guillermo, I ask you this: Vladimir Putin invaded the country, his fault, but it is what it is now. War been raging for a year and a half, a little over a year. If you have the ability, you feel, to call for some kind of ceasefire, some kind of peace, to give diplomacy a chance, which would allow part of that agreement just to give diplomacy a chance to sit down at the negotiating table, just to call for that, and part of that clarion call to bring the warring countries together would be that you allow these ships carrying the grain to continue to go out to the world, in particular to the hardest hit countries in Africa where they're starving to death every day. And you don't do that. Aren't you part of causing world hunger as well? Meaning Joe Biden, Western European leaders, if you would call for some peace talks, you could stop this. You could get the not just Putin. Yeah, the blame's on Putin. But when you have the ability to stop somebody, like you got a mass murderer out there, and you have the ability to stop that mass murderer, and you don't, and that murderer goes in and kills somebody, just like the cop with the girl with the knife, or the bodega man, stopping the guy, Biden's not doing that. Still, I mean, how many people not only have to die on the battlefield, but starve to death around the world before somebody calls for some peace talks?
So you're basically saying that Biden and everyone is equally as an accomplice.
I wouldn't say equally. Putin invaded a country.
Yeah.
It's on him. But like I said, it's the world we live in now. A nuclear power. Go see Oppenheimer, and you'll see why you have to negotiate differently. You just can't call the president of a nuclear country just a serial killer and a murderer and expect that to result in peace. He may be those things, may absolutely be those things, but you have to negotiate differently. Vladimir Putin is not going to surrender. So what? Now what? It's going to continue to ratchet. He's going to continue to ratchet things up. Cluster bombs are coming now. The Ukraine's using these cluster bombs. Now Russia's doing the cluster bombs. Now they're stopping shipments of grain. Who, if not Joe Biden, to call for peace?
Yeah.
Who?
So I think it's pretty evident that these countries and these leaders, they don't care about who gets harmed or what the collateral damage. And I think hunger in certain parts of the world is that collateral damage. I could only assume that these leaders in their high level meetings are looking at it as, well, and that's kind of a byproduct. This is going to happen. People are going to starve. Things aren't going to get where they need to be, which is really sad. And when you look at the situation and when you look at nobody's urgency to end it, the only logical conclusion is that everybody is complicit and they really don't care about what goes on around the world.
I agree with you.
Unfortunately.
And that is the sad, evil truth. But we, as a country, have always advertised ourselves around the country as the champion of peace. That's peace through strength, but peace is the answer. Let us find a peaceful solution to this. And now we're starting to be seen as, and perhaps rightfully so, as the biggest war supporter that the history of the world has ever seen. We certainly have the biggest defense, weapons production capability, and that any country in the history of the world. That's why we're able to send so much equipment over to Ukraine. We, the defense contractors, defense industry, the Pentagon gets more money than any other department. And I'm for a safe, secure United States of America and fighting a war if need be. But these manufactured wars and saying you stand for peace when secretly you want to see war continue because it's profitable, my goodness, you got to make a stand, regardless of how much it costs you politically, personally in your own life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm swimming upstream on this thing, folks. And I mean, everybody in Hollywood seems like it's on Biden's side on this. On the Ukraine, just keep the war going for as long as it takes. They totally accept that there's no real valid explanation of what victory looks like. They're just totally accepting that. And you just, which begs the question, how many bodies, how many dead people, how many dead kids, how many people have to starve to death before you try something different, like talking this thing out? So anyway, that's...
Sorry, I just saw Barbie. They're doing a Barbie special on CNN, so I wasn't paying attention.
Barbie beats...
Yeah. Sorry.
Barbie beats ops? Well, of course she's going to be Barbie.
They're just doing a recap.
Well, they were in more theaters.
Yeah, they're just doing a recap.
I'll say that. Oppenheimer is it's a heavy movie, though.
So is Barbie apparently coming out emotionally.
Well, it may not be heavy. You just might have a tender moment.
Yeah. But no, back to the Ukraine conversation.
You really want to go there?
No, back to Ukraine. Yeah,
we only got 5 minutes.
Nobody wants to.
Let's shift gears over here. Last 5 minutes. You have the Democrats and the media, the mainstream media, CNN and all the legacy networks, like starving dogs in the meat house to cover RFK's testimony before the House. Yet you can't get anybody to cover the testimony of 2 very reputable IRS whistleblowers exposing what could be the biggest scandal in the history of American politics. How do you explain that? I know it's a rhetorical question, but go ahead, spew forth.
It's covering. Covering is what's going on. There's a lot of covering. If Donald Trump's
RFK's cover is more important than 2 of the top IRS whistleblowers saying that Hunter Biden and Joe Biden have benefited to the tune of millions of dollars from foreign countries while he was vice president. That's more important to cover RFK and his anti-vax stance, which he says, by the way, he did not take.
Mm-hmm.
He said he was against the experimental vaccine. He said he's taking the flu vaccine every year.
Yeah. So your question was why?
Yes.
So because they're covering. I mean, it's if the shoe was on the other foot, if Don Jr. and Donald Trump had done exactly what Hunter Biden and Joe Biden have done, it would be wall-to-wall coverage. Remember when they impeached Donald Trump? I mean, they had the vote. They had Nancy Pelosi walking the articles of impeachment right over. They had it televised the whole time. I mean, when you look at comparisons, look at the January 6th committee. That kind of started dying off. But it's the fact that the reason why they're not covering it is because it's a Democrat president.
Okay, let me ask you. We all have Democratic friends.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, some friends I would call maybe lean to the woke side.
Yeah, I would agree too.
Smart people.
Yeah.
We differ ideologically, politically, right? But they're smart. Very smart people. Rational in many aspects of their life. Politically, they get off a little bit, but rational. And honest people really believe what they espouse.
Mm-hmm.
Those people, and I have a few in mind right now, I'm not going to mention names. How do they, and I know you have some in your mind.
Oh, yeah.
How in the world do they justify what we just said, that the media cover RFK wall-to-wall testimony on cancel culture, knowing that they can get him, they're going to get him, and completely ignore the testimony of these two IRS whistleblowers, who are completely legitimate, valid, have put their entire careers on the line, who will be punished the rest of their life by you all, and you don't cover them at all. How do they justify that? Well, put yourself in their mind. How can you spin that if you're one of our friends who are on the left?
Yeah.
To justify.
If I'm thinking of one particular that's very die-in-the-wool lefty, he would probably say Donald Trump's family did it, and they're getting away with it. So,
yeah, but why wouldn't you just cover the IRS as well? Cover RFK, skewer him, do whatever, use whatever snippets you want to. And why wouldn't you do the same with the whistleblower?
Because who would watch it?
Well, exactly. And I think also, you're probably not going to find much to edit.
Yeah.
If you listen to that testimony and they knew that going in, you're not going to be able to find, well, Biden did this, but. And they've done their research. They're saying the big doo-doo.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are legitimate. One of them's Democrat and is gay, our constituents.
Dang.
And you got one conservative. They got a balance there. The other guy's been given awards by the IRS for his impeccable service. And how do we?
Those guys aren't credible.
I think they know full well they're credible. Yeah. And that's sad. That said, is you can't go, you know what? We're going to put this out there. And we're going to let the people because there's no way that you can spin this to have a legitimate reason why you don't cover both of those hearings.
Alan, it goes back to the reason why they're liberal and they're lefties in the first place. And I think, honestly, they believe that the right and the conservatives are just the party that is just filthy rich and wants to
the
take
ends
advantage.
Justify the means.
It is. Exactly.
They know they're doing wrong. They know these people are telling the truth. They know Biden probably took the money, but he's better for the country than Trump.
Overall, he's a nicer guy.
And no, just better for they're using him. Yeah. They're not ready to completely throw him to the wolves yet.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah. Well, folks, go see Oppenheimer. Go see Barbie. Keep Hollywood. Keep those movie theaters open. Guillermo Marino, as always, thank you for your pearls of wisdom.
Thank you.
And thank you, folks, for tuning in. Just do your best. Let God do the rest. And good Lord willing, we'll see you on Tuesday. Bye-bye now.